go. There we go. All right, Ken.
Made us late again.
It's just a little late, but here we go. Let's see, which intro do I have? I think this is it.
I've been running scams on the street since I was 10. I've been running scams on the street since I was 10.
Hey, Mike, what do you see? A falcon that inflates for free. Hey, Ken, what's the drill? Blue milk sipping gives me a thrill. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. Left, right, we're marching through. Cosplay helmets and a saber or two. Hey, Mike, what's the plan? To nerd out harder than anyone can. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. So grab your gear and join the crew. Mike and Ken got a show for you. Laughs and stars and a galaxy far. The Falcon's ready, let's raise the bar. Hey! Hey, Mike, what do you see? A falcon that inflates for free. Hey, Ken, what's the drill? Blue milk sipping gives me a thrill. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. Left, right, we're marching through. Cosplay helmets and a saber or two. Hey, Mike, what's the plan? To nerd out harder than anyone can. The inflatable falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. So grab your gear and join the crew. Mike and Ken got a show for you. Laughs and stars and a galaxy.
All right, we already got a chat on here.
Excellent.
Here, wait a minute. Why does it always want to? It always wants to cover your face, there, Ken. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
They
don't
probably
know.
know something.
There we go. There. I don't know why. There we go. I don't know why the text is weird like that, but what are you gonna do? Happy Wednesday. So we got Coach Vader, Spartan, and Table Ready Painting. So we got all the
Awesome.
regulars. So nothing's getting done at home on Wednesday nights right now.
What do they say? The usual suspects.
Right. So Ken, we missed last week. That was me due to me being sick. So I
This
apologize.
season, man. I'm so glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. So it's just the rigor of being around the whole 600 middle schoolers. So
Is that considered a gaggle, or is a gaggle a little smaller?
I think it's just to call it a middle school. I think when you see 600 kids, they just call it a middle school. That's the term. No, yeah, it's probably a gaggle or a horde or I don't know what you call that.
A posse?
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Ken, before we start, where can people find you other than here?
Well, when I'm not here, sometimes you can find me on Bamf Milk Podcast around the Dejeric table. Once a month or so, Todd and I get together, bounty hunting across the galaxy with Todd and Ken. And just recently, I released a new episode of The Rambling Star Wars Fan, where I talk about how 2026 is a feast year for Star Wars fans. And you got a whole bunch of stuff. And I was just thinking as we were watching the intro that we might have to redo it because the 501st cast isn't in the intro.
That's true. Yes, I might. I just what I want to do is redo another intro. Yeah, you find me here Wednesdays unless I'm sick. You can also find me on the 501st cast, helping out with Zoe's podcast, Star Wars Geek Girl. And if I ever get, I think the 501st cast might have circumvented the Karita cast, but who knows? That could come back too. But yeah, so our newest episode was up on the 5th, and I did a really good interview with Trooper of the Month. So if you're interested in a 501st being a member or in any of the other costuming groups, I think our show can be enjoyed by all members, not just 501st members. But
I mean, yeah, you got a Mando Merc that listens to it for crying out loud.
yeah, we have Mando Merc that listen to it regularly. So there
and
we
I
go.
think what I'm going to start doing based on the 501st cast is I'm going to make a list of people that I want to find at Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, there you go.
So the gentleman, and I forgot his name, I apologize. I didn't commit it to memory. But the gentleman from Indiana, the Trooper of the Month, he's
Yes.
the kind of guy I want to sit down and have a soda pop with. It just tell stories.
He seems like one of the guys who would be so much fun to be sitting there. Like when I was in Chicago, we were sitting there talking about nonsense and silliness till like 3 a.m. in the one hotel lobby. It was just a bunch. It was like an ever-changing crowd. Like you'd be talking to like 6 guys and you turn and it was a different guy in his seat. And it just was like everyone was just like rotating in.
That's cool.
So
I'm already putting together a scavenger hunt of sorts for
Of
Star
people.
Wars Celebration, and
Yeah.
he's one of the people that I've got on my list because he was also talking about doing bounty hunting.
Yeah. Well,
different
I'm
events.
hoping the tickets come for sale soon. You know,
I guess I'd say a week or two. Again, I've been wrong in the past.
It's just, do they really have to become available during tax season? You know, like I'm gonna have to pay Uncle Sam a bunch of money, and then I'm also gonna have to buy tickets for Celebration.
Then you have to pay Reed Pop a bunch of money.
Huh?
Then you have to pay Reed Pop a bunch of money.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and I haven't checked if the applications for podcasts are open yet. I know we're
Not yet. I just checked last weekend.
Yeah. So, you know,
Although they could be open today. I checked on Sunday.
yeah. I think last time when Zoe did Japan, I think it was only 6 months out. Like I don't think it was that. There wasn't that. And because when we went to London, she didn't find out till the end of January that she was accepted in May. You know, to when we went to London or April.
You applied before that, though, right?
Huh? Yeah, but it was like we applied in the fall. It was in the fall. It wasn't, you know. But yeah. So Ken, before we get started on any other big news, let's see. Wait a minute. What do we got? We got Coach Vader says they started amazingly with Shadow Lord. Oh, Shadow Lord, the new Darth Maul.
There's a show. There's a new show.
Yeah, new show. I think this came out. But yeah, we did you do any trooping? Have you done any trooping since we last?
Trooping? No. Nope.
Now I know you were doing costume work.
Yes.
So how'd your costume go?
I couldn't come to another episode of this show without getting something done.
Yeah.
So I've been working on my gauntlets for my post-imperial kit.
Now,
So
are they
I've
the
got-
bigger ones that I reprinted for you?
Yes, they
Okay,
are.
good.
Yep.
Now, how are you going to hinge those?
I don't know. That's the next part of my research, trying to figure out how to do that because they're not. See, my other gauntlets on this inside seam, there were teeth, interlocking teeth that you could put on I just used a clothes hanger from
Right.
a dry cleaner, the really thin clothes hanger,
Yeah.
and you would run the clothes hanger through all of the teeth. And
Right.
then on this side, there was a smaller set of teeth that you put a pin in and it locked it together. But these
Right.
don't have that.
Well, so I'm looking at that because I'm working on some too, and I think what I'm going to do on the hinge side, I'm
Yep.
going to get a 3-inch piece of belting and
Okay.
glue it on. So that's my hinge.
Okay.
And then I've been looking for in 000 when I did his legs. You know what a piano hinge is?
Yeah,
So I took a
absolutely.
piano hinge and I cut it in segments about this long. I pounded the pin out, and then you glue it in. You glue it in inside, and you take that pin and you put a loop in it. You can pull the pin
So you're going to use the piano hinge
as
for
the
those
open
lock.
as
Yeah,
the open and
and
close.
that's the kind of what it's that same idea where there's one part of the hinge that interlocks with the other, and then a
Yeah,
pin can go through. So that actually makes sounds like a good idea too. Todd was saying, I don't remember how he locked it, but he did use the piano hinge for the hinge part that you were talking
yeah,
about using webbing or belting.
yeah. I'm going to use belting for these kids because I just think it'll be easier for them to get their arms and stuff. I'm going to look around. There might be some 3D printed locking mechanisms I might be able to print, and if I find them, I'll print you a set too.
Okay.
That we could just glue inside. But and then I'll probably put you can buy the foam for when you put air conditioners in your window.
Yep.
It's usually like a cube of foam with sticky on one side, and you stick it on the inside of the gauntlets, and you can trim it the thickness with scissors. So when you close your
Okay.
gauntlet, it's tight and it holds your gauntlet on, but it's not cutting off your circulation or anything. It keeps the gauntlet from sliding down.
What I ended up doing with my other ones is I took craft foam, really,
Yeah,
really thin craft foam, and just grab this and I put it along the whole inside. So
yeah,
A, it didn't slide around on my sleeves,
nice.
and B, it made the whole inside like it was cushioned,
Oh,
so
nice.
there wasn't as much pressure.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. So yeah, now, with the only thing with the piano hinge on 000, I had to drill holes in it and screw them into the legs, and then um, take a Dremel and cut the screws that stuck out the outside, and then Bondo them. I don't think you have to do that on the 3D print. I think the super glue would probably hold it
Oh,
on the
okay.
piano hinge. But like I said, I'm going to look. I think if I bet you because Galactic Armory sells so many of their files, someone has probably made a hinge file that I can either get for free or buy, and I'll just because the nice thing about getting the 3D printed ones, it'll glue together relatively, it'll stick.
Yeah, you have two types of the same material.
I mean, I could make a piano hinge in Tinkercad or one of the things. Yeah, you and Safi like Gorilla Glue. Table, I hate Gorilla Glue. Gorilla Glue is the one glue I try. I always get Zap-A-Gap. Gorilla Glue is never my friend. I don't know why. I bought at the last 3D printing con, I bought a special glue just for PLA and PLA Plus.
Oh,
It's
I didn't know
just
they
made
made.
for those. Yeah. So I have saved it for my Star Wars costuming only. So but now so you have gauntlets done.
Well, they're painted. I still have to figure out the Greeblies portion of it. So, for instance, one of them has this on there that was meant to hold the piece of like colored acrylic or whatever, so you can light it from the backside.
Or you can get the 1.5-inch LED screen.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go that that deep or that hard with these. I think I just might figure out another way of covering up this space.
Well, get a piece of if you can get plexiglass, like a square piece of plexiglass, and scratch it up on the one side and then put an LED light behind it. And then you can buy that. Have you ever bought that translucent spray paint for painting plastic? That's how I did 000's eyes in glowing red. I just spray painted them with that red. It's like a translucent red, and it made the clear plastic look red.
Oh, cool.
And so you can get it in red, green, purple, yellow, orange, and then just take a piece of plexiglass and if you scratch to one side, it'll diffuse all that light right into that. And then just get I don't know how much space is in there, but you can get those little flat LEDs that just use a flat battery and just plop it up there.
Yeah, something to consider.
So
I had to put the greeblies on them too, so I didn't
yeah,
get that part done this weekend.
I got to
'Cause
print some.
unfortunately, I can't. I don't want to rush the steps in between because I've done that in the past and
Yeah.
I've had to redo it all again. So, let the paint cure, put the next layer on, kind of thing. Did you
Yeah,
get any prep work done this weekend?
I did. I got all 5 of my Mandalorian helmets for my students put together. I didn't put the earpieces and greeblies, but I got them all put together. And then I was going to paint them tonight, and I just was not. I was not feeling it tonight. But I'm going to throw some primer on them and see how they go. They came out printed pretty nice, and since they're just for students, I mean, I'm not like going to shortchange them and all, but they're not in a costuming group. They're just for May the 4th. So I'm going to hit them with a couple coats of primer, probably light sand them, and then have it hopefully by our next episode, I will at least have everything in primer, because I have 5 helmets, 5 chest plates, 10 shoulder bells, and 10 hand plates to paint, and the gauntlets too. So the gauntlets are not, the hinging of the gauntlets are going to be the thing I have to just make sure I do it quick and easy. I just need to find a quick that can easily be worn by non-costumers,
Yeah, it's not as if they're actually using them to go into space or battle. So
Right.
as long as they stay on during the show.
But yeah, that's what I got done. I did get my garage cleaned out, so that was another good thing. But hopefully, as the weather changes, I'll have more and more things. I got to get my trooping fix back on. There was a call for troopers for a Lucasfilm event in Brooklyn coming up.
Really?
You had to have them submitted today. They wanted stormtroopers, but I didn't submit mine for 2 reasons. First off, I'd have to take off work on a Friday to do the troop, and secondly, they're not going to accept my armor is not accurate enough. They want it for that. I know what kind of gig it is, and it's one of those gigs at Lucasfilm. They want everyone looks the same, so they're looking for the exact body type and stuff like that. But it did make me like, oh man, I really got to get some armor building done. But yeah. So anyone out there, if you're in Korea and you haven't looked at the boards, check the boards out, because I think it's due today. I think you have to have your pictures in today. I think I submitted for one of those years ago. I think I was a little too chubby, so they wanted to. I remember when they were doing a Vader one time. I think it wound up becoming a Burger King commercial or something like that. But they wanted a Vader, and you had to be 6'3", without shoes on. Like they wanted a Vader that was 6'2". It was.
How are they going to verify that with photographs?
Well, no, that was like they wanted photographs of you in your armor, but the one requirement, I think it was 6'2" or 6'3", you had to be without I mean, I guess if you showed up and they just weren't going to use you, So that's usually like that. I think that one was a Burger King commercial. And then the last time I remember when they were asking for troopers, it was something to do with Snoop Dogg and some sneakers or something like that.
Oh, geez.
So it's probably something. And then there was one when they did a video game thing when they released that. Remember that pod game where you sat and drove?
Yeah.
They needed a couple troopers to hang at that, and they just wanted a specific thing. So, that's all good though. That's what makes.
I'm still waiting for them to post more of the theater troops for Mandalorian and Grogu. Right now, we only have from Maviola Clan. There's only one posted so far, and that's for a drive-in movie theater.
Well, like I said before, if you are a trooper anywhere listening to this, or when I say trooper, I mean any costumer in the Star Wars, if you're Rebel Legion or Mando Mercs or who else, that's pretty much it. And the 501st, do a drive-in. If you get a chance to do a drive-in, do a drive-in.
Yeah, that's the only one that's posted right now.
There's none posted with us either. I mean, I it used to be, I don't know how it works now, but I just remember, I know, there's like that you can only do ones for making money. There's like embargoes on, I forget, they have fancy wording for it. But I say, if you're in a 501st and you have a local movie theater, it's going to reach out to the theater and let them know, because a lot of those theater people don't know, be the ambassador
We
for
have
your region.
we have like 2 movie theaters less than 10 miles from here. One of them we did a live podcast from during, I think it was Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I might reach out to them and say, hey, do you want someone to show up?
Yeah.
You want somebody to show up on opening night or something?
Well, we did the Allen Theater in Hershey for one of the last 2 movies. I forget which one. And it's an old-timey theater. Like, it has it's restored to the old-timey ways, and it has the big sloping, and Safi and I just had a ball doing that one, and the big ones are nice too. Yeah, okay, so there's one in Scranton too. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I just hope we get a lot. Like, when Force Awakens came out, man, I think we had a dozen, like, the first weekend. Like, we were trooping like that Wednesday through Sunday, but like that first week, The Force Awakens, I think I trooped like 4 times and saw the movie like 8 or something like that. It was ridiculous.
That's awesome.
So I hope, I mean, it could just be that people are just, the movie theaters don't know. So I hope that any Legion members or Rebel Legion or Mando Mercs, they should just reach out and just, it's the Mercs time to shine. It's like that. It's like the in Chicago when we were in that big dome and all the Mercs were sitting down in the bottom when they were showing the Grogu, and there was like over 100 Mercs with their helmets just shaking them in the audience in the front. Zoe was so mad she didn't wear her Sabine that time. Like, it was back at the hotel room. She, because she could have been down there with the Mercs. But yeah, I mean, it's the Mercs time to shine in that regard. So I just hope they reach out. I mean, it's going to be May is going to be a busy month, because we have
very, very, very.
Pre-Comic Book Day. I got to reach out to a couple of the comic book stores and see if they because again, I'd rather see one trooper at every comic book store in Garrison Corridas. I'd rather I'd like it to say, look, we hit 95% of the comic book stores in our
Is
area.
that May 3rd? I forgot which day it is.
When is it? It's the first Saturday in May. So is that the second?
Okay.
That's the second.
Okay, May 2nd. Okay.
Because I'm going to Galactic Empire's concert that night.
Okay.
So if you want to come up, Ken, you should get tickets. You can still get tickets. They're like $25 or something like that. You were there before. It's the same.
Yeah, it was. That's the same box.
Same place and everything. Yeah.
If I do go to that show, I'll have to bring a lightsaber this time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to remember. I have to bring my lightsaber this time. I'll have to see if I need a scabbard to wear it on my back so I can just be cool like all those guys jumping around in the front. Yeah, Coach on the second. But yeah, I think there's like 2 or 3 comic book ones near me. The Lancaster comic book store is not doing one. I gotta go talk to them this weekend and see if they want to get a hold of Corrida, because I could do the Lancaster one just because it's close and all that. Are you going, Spartan? I will be there. With not with bells on. I wonder if I should. I wonder if I should throw together a Mando helmet to wear there too.
Why
there was
not?
guys with helmets. I think when we were there, were there, Ken?
You wear a Black Series helmet in it would be fine.
Yeah, my head's the problem with the Black Series helmet. I like them, but my head is so fat that it gets uncomfortable relatively quickly. Like that Boba Fett.
You're not going to be wearing it the whole show.
I know, but All right, Spartan. Well, I'll see you there. I will be there. With my, I have my merch on. I do have my Galactic Empire merch on. So, but yeah, that May is going to be a busy month, because we have all of that, the conclusion of mall, all that stuff.
Fan Expo.
Fan Expo. Oh yeah, I forgot about Fan Expo. I haven't heard from them either.
They said what I read was that they would let us know a month before the show.
So we're getting close to that.
Yeah, so probably in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
Plus Mandalorian Grogu is that's comes out May 22nd.
yeah, it's a good May. It's going to be a good May. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, Zoe went to. I think Zoe had 2 Darth Maul watch parties out where she lives, and now the one group of kids that I say kids, they're all adults, but the one group of youngins that she goes with, I think they want to have a watch party every week. So
That's
she
cool.
made Darth Maul cupcakes. So, and Zoe makes some killer vegan cupcakes, I will say. Because the key to vegan pastries is anything that's not vegan is usually just replaced with sugar. So,
And that's one of the vegan foods that you can get away with calling them what they are, because that's what they are. They're cupcakes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't, how far is Bethlehem, PA from you?
Probably 2 hours.
Oh, okay. But Bethlehem, PA has a place called Vegan Treats, a bakery. And it's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours for me. And usually once or twice a year, I drive up to buy a Boston cream donut. Like just one donut. And it's so good.
Just 3-hour drive for a single donut.
Yeah. Well,
You don't do anything else but get a donut?
The last time I went, it started as just to go to get a single donut, and I came back with a dozen donuts, which is really not good for me.
That makes more sense. I mean, if you're going to drive 3 hours, and I'm not saying that you have to be the one who eats the dozen donuts.
Yeah, but it usually is me that eats the dozen donuts. So there for a while, it was I would stop on the way to Jordan's and pick one up.
I don't understand why you don't stop at the Peep Factory.
The what?
I'm talking where they make Peeps.
Oh, yeah, but I can't eat Peeps. They
Not
have
a-
gelatin in them.
You don't have to eat them. You can stop at the factory and see
I
how
didn't
they're
even
made.
like eating them when I did eat gelatin. Peeps are like, I don't know. That feels like something that
Delicious.
when you're like 80, they'll find that still in your colon. Hey, here's a peep from when you were a kid. Well, so
You'll be just as happy then.
if Steel City Con this week, wait a minute, this weekend? Steel City Con's this weekend? Oh yeah, well good. Give your mission report to 501st. Yes, Anthony. Please give your mission report. And we did use some of your stuff in the last couple episodes too. But yeah, if look, you have if you guys are 15 minutes from Vegan Treats, I recommend swinging by and getting a Boston cream donut. Even if you're
Don't
not
they check your ID at the door though?
huh?
Don't you have to be vegan to get it? Because if not,
You're temporarily vegan as soon as you walk in. You're temporarily vegan. You just walk in and you're if I lived near Bethlehem, I would weigh 400 pounds. I just, I would go there like every
you could
meal.
do a lot of walking.
Yeah, I would just eat all those donuts. I would be in trouble. It's good that Vegan Treats is that far from me. Ken, you're frozen or you're just disgusted with Vegan Treats. I can't tell which. But yeah, so I don't know how do we so yeah, Zoe's having a lot of mall parties, and Ken, you're still frozen. And Anthony still said, yeah, I wish there Ken's back. Steel City Con is that's one of the happiest memories of trooping, I think, in my life. With the old Steel City Con days, we would go play Magic with Skippy in the lobby of the hotel and walk over and troop. So no changing room required. You just walk over and walk right in. And you never got to Steel City, did you, Ken?
Nope. I do want to try to get to Air and Scare this year.
Yeah, they I think they changed the group to the 2026 Air and Scare. Now I haven't seen any other details yet, but Air and Scare I think is everyone should try to get the Air and Scare. It's just especially if you're in the any of the legions or the groups, it's a good lesson in organization because they just organize. Like sometimes any of us that have trooped cons or big events, sometimes the logistics of it can get everyone a little angry. You know what I mean? Like everyone just gets a little grumpy because of this or this. And Air and Scare, it seems like they have it running that happens so little with the amount of people that are there.
Well, I think from what I've heard of it too, is you don't have some of the other trappings of most events. And what I mean by that is you don't have a single location for all the costumers.
Right.
You don't have the tendencies for, even if there is a single place for the costumers, sometimes you got six of them over here and three of them over there, only talking to each other and not interacting with the people that are at the event. But with the Air and Scare, it seems like they're scattered throughout.
Yeah,
So
I mean, depending on how many people show up, they have stations for everyone, and then they take your costumes in consideration, and they'll be like, okay, and then they make a master schedule. You know, like if like I was a TK one time, I was in front of the Death Star background with a Vader and a couple other stormtroopers and some Royal Guards, and we were there for an hour. And they came, like I forget the exact time, but say I had to be there at noon. They said be at this rally point at 11:30 in costume. So you stood in this spot, and a squire or handler, whatever you call him, came. He had a PVC pipe with a sign on it. Said, you know, it said something like, "We can't stop. We're going to a thing." You followed that sign to your station. You stood there. People come through, got pictures, and an hour later, a guy showed up, brought the new group, and you went back, and that was it. You could sign up for more, but they just posted everyone at one station throughout the day. And then if you wanted to walk around with the people, you could. But it was, and they had spreadsheets and they had like totes, like you unloaded your tote, like when you were suited down, your tote got set down and other people's totes got sat on top. And it was like a maze of totes, and it was beautiful.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, I've been there. I think I've done it 2 or 3 times. The one time I stayed there's a hotel right there, like not even a half mile, like a site from it. And I would recommend that at least for the first time. We drove down twice, and that was okay too. But the staying there made it less stressful in the sense you just got up, took your stuff there. So yeah, I would
Make a
highly
weekend of it. That's the other cool part. I mean, there's so much stuff around there to do or see.
Well, and when we went, the years I went, we were allowed in like hours early. So you got all your stuff, put it where you had to be, checked your schedule, and then you got to walk around the museum with just other members of the costuming groups. Like there was no one else in the building. So you got
Yeah,
to
and that's
see
one of
all.
those places that literally takes your breath away. Just
Yeah.
the amount of history that's there. I mean, it's the Enola Gay hanging from the ceiling, or
Well, yeah, and
the
the
capsule that went
Blackbird,
in space.
the
Oh, the
Blackbird,
Blackbird, the SR-1 Blackbird. Geesh.
that was Safi's favorite plane growing up. So she got to be in 000 standing in front of the Blackbird. Now Safi lucked out because since she was in with the droid builders. Well, droids don't have to change, so she, R2 doesn't have to change into his clothes. So she was the only protocol droid. So she had her own changing room for because she was the only protocol droid that showed up one year. So she got to hang out. But yeah, it's definitely worth the trip if you can go out there. So. But yeah, I haven't had any trooping. Like I said, I've been going back on the boards and looking. They're starting to fill up the summer, so like there's a Reading Fillings game and all that stuff. I'm just trying to pick and choose until the school year's over and see what happens.
Nice.
But yeah, and then did you see? I know I said no more popcorn buckets, but did you see all the new stuff being released
For Disneyland and stuff like
yeah,
that.
the C-3PO popcorn bucket, the
C-3PO,
Bantha.
Tauntaun, the Katana.
Yeah, there's a lot. I might have to break my popcorn bucket.
They're really capitalizing on the popularity of it. I haven't seen any of the ones for Mandalorian and Grogu.
No, but I think the ones from Mandalorian and Grogu are also. I think the movie theater ones are slightly different than the ones you see at Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like the ones like when I look at like this. Well, maybe this is one of those ones from Disneyland. I don't know if the popcorn buckets in the movie theater are quite like that yet, are they? You know, that like that fancy.
Yeah. Well, some of the ones though for the movie theater are ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there was the one for Jurassic World, which was just a big like hubcap sort of thing that was a T-Rex footprint.
yeah. Well, and it's funny because like remember the Galactus head from Fantastic Four?
Well, there's the Galactus head. There was the sandworm from Dune.
Yeah.
You know,
But now like that the Galactus head I've seen on Facebook Marketplace for as low as $20 now because I think people are
Really?
like, what am I gonna do with this thing? You know.
okay,
So,
I gotta check out Facebook Marketplace more often.
yeah. Yeah. No, I've seen, you know, I have the Jawa one from Disney, which is really cool.
Yeah, the only popcorn bucket I have from Disney is the mouse droid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they had the Millennium Falcon there when I was there one time, and they had the AT-AT, and I was just I don't know how I'm gonna get those home. It's just like the trip home outweighed me wanting to get them, and that's before I knew they would mail stuff home. If I knew they would have mailed stuff home, I probably would have bought way more stuff. But then Zoe got me the Jawa and Jabba, and I'll probably get the Bantha just because I just like Tatooine stuff. You know, the 3PO head. I can go out my garage and make a 3PO head. I know that sounds terrible, but
No, I mean it makes perfect sense. Probably for a fraction of the cost.
yeah, I could go cast a fiberglass or a resin 3PO head pretty quickly if I have to. So, but the Bantha one just because of my Tatooine, like I'm almost thinking of this room eventually, like rearranging it and thinking of more of a Tatooine theme to it. Just
Like
you
a
know,
cantina or a workshop. Because you can make it look like a droid workshop.
droid workshop. Yeah, you know that would probably look like almost like what's his face?
Watto.
Watto's, a Watto's. Oh, there we go. Yeah, well, yeah, the AT-AT one that would be.
See, I thought the pram would make a really good popcorn bucket.
Yeah. Well, so when I went to see Solo, when I trooped Solo years ago, and I got all these Solo popcorn things that I hadn't seen in other places, I talked to the lady at the snack bar. I was like, "Hey, well, you guys have these, and I've never seen these at other theaters." And she was explaining to me that the movie theaters get this catalog. Now, this was, you know, when Solo came out. So how long ago was that? Like 8, 9 years ago or something like that?
Longer than that.
Longer than that? When did Solo come out?
Solo came out in like 2017, didn't it?
Okay, so 9 years. Well, anyway, yeah, because it came right after Rogue One, and Rogue One was just 10 years ago. So it's probably like 9 years, right? Yeah, 17, because that's when I drove
2018.
out. 18, okay. But she was saying that they would get a catalog like 6 months to a year out early before movies came out, and you could pick and choose what, but you had to order them relatively earlier. Now I'm sure it's a slightly smaller window just because film has changed, but you could pick and choose, and so it just depends on what the person likes at that theater or what they're willing. It's probably like a judgment
Gamble.
of. Yeah. Now back then, like the enhanced metal bucket with them, like it's almost like those tubs that ice cream used to come in, those plastic ones.
Yep.
I got a Han Solo one like that. I think I paid like an extra $10. Now it's like way more than that.
Yes, now the bucket without popcorn, the buckets are like $45.
Right. So, but I'm just curious, like, what the theaters have to decide and what, because then certain ones now you can only get certain buckets at certain theaters. Like Regal has their own, AMC has their own, and like I said, the drive-ins have some. So I'm curious. I can't wait to see all the buckets. I'm really going to try to stick with my no popcorn bucket rule. I can't.
Does that rule mean you won't buy them or you won't accept them?
I don't know. I'll always accept free Star Wars stuff.
Okay.
But
I mean, let's say if you're trooping at the drive-in and they say, "Here, would you like a popcorn bucket?"
oh, of course. I mean, that would be rude not to. But yeah, I just my rule doesn't count Disney though. I don't count that because when I'm at Disney, like financial responsibility doesn't count. You know, that's a whole nother.
You're talking to the guy who for 2 years in a row said, "I'm not buying any more action figures," and those were the 2 years I bought the most action figures.
Yeah, well, yeah. So
So
I don't know. I am curious to see what happens with that. I mean, and then we have the Darth Maul stuff. So I'm sure we'll have some more Darth Maul stuff hitting out because I think that have you watched it, right? So we can talk
Yes.
spoilers with Darth Maul.
Yes. Yep. I watched both episodes 3 times so far.
What my only complaint with Darth Maul is it makes me realize why the TVs we buy now are so cheap because you don't have true black and it's hard to see unless you're watching at night. The glare on these new TVs is such a pain in the neck. You know what I mean?
I was surprised. I'm surprised that that's your complaint because I have a totally different complaint.
What's that?
I don't want to get up at 3 in the morning to
Oh
watch.
yeah.
And I did. Don't get me wrong. I did. I set an alarm 2:45 a.m. so that I could watch it. That's my complaint.
Well, I didn't get up early and watch it because I was off Monday, so I could watch it, as soon as I didn't have to go to work. But I do miss getting up. That was like a thing me and Zoe did. Like we would, anytime there was new Star Wars, we would get up at a ridiculous hour and watch it.
Yeah, but it wasn't that ridiculous. It was like 4 or 5. This is 3.
Yeah, but we would get up. We wouldn't get up and watch it at the when it came out. We would get it up. We would like calculate, okay, I have to get up for work at 5:30, so we will get up at 4:30 to watch it. You know what I mean? Like that's what we would always do. So it did make me sad in that regard that I didn't get to do that anymore. That was
well, now you could do a watch party.
Huh?
You can watch it both at the same time from opposite ends of the coast.
You can't if you have the same account. We tried because she logs in with my account. Like we have a family account, so we have but you can't do a watch party if you're on the same account. So we tried it. So, but it was good. I mean, it's Dave's animation never disappoints, huh?
Do spoiler-free thoughts first. Other than the animation was good.
My spoiler, I you know how I feel about this, but I wish they would have released them all at once because I just wanted to watch more. So that's my spoiler. My spoiler free is if you're not watching it, you're missing out on a good part of Star Wars.
Oh goodness, yeah, that's for sure. And I'll say that about any of it, whether it's Young Jedi Adventures or the Acolyte, and definitely this show. This show is Star Wars to the nth degree. The fact that they're using old-timey techniques and scanning it into a computer and then digitizing it is a fantastic. I truly believe that if George Lucas was still involved in the creation of Star Wars stuff, that's some of the efforts that he would push the groups to do.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And I liked the detective story feel to it. Like I liked that there was at first I was like there's a cop and then I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool" because it was like
because his last name is Lawson.
But the funny thing with the cop was he wasn't like he wasn't on the good guys. He was on the good guys side, but the good guys were he wasn't against the Empire and he wasn't really for the Empire. He was working on his precinct and he didn't want to get the Empire involved, but it wasn't like a political statement. It was just like, I just want to take care of our own stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was, it was kind of cool. And, And that little dude, the little guy that had the big battle suit, which I thought was funny, the crime lord.
Hmm.
That was
The one that's the same species as Rex Tyrell from the Phantom Menace.
yeah. Well,
I was amazed.
even the Jedi, the Master Jedi that was in the shadows. I like the look of that character too. You know,
Yeah, and I don't even know what species he is. He looks like a reptile, Trandoshan something or other.
his face reminded me of Bindu. Bindu? What was the big tree guy from
Bendu, the Bendu.
the Bend? His face had that same. I mean, I know he's not the same species, but
Yeah.
it gave me those vibes of him.
Well, definitely like he had seen some stuff. He'd been around for a while, and
Yeah,
definitely he seemed to be much older than his apprentice, or
yeah.
I don't know if it was his apprentice or if it was just
I'm a
another
survivor.
Jedi he was trailing with. Yeah, another
Yeah,
survivor. But I was so amazed. Okay, first I'll start off that this show is about Darth Maul, this character who in the Phantom Menace had maybe 30 minutes of screen time,
right.
maybe. Um, this character being the focal point, and at the same time of that, there's developing this other story to the for the police officer that we see, Lawson,
Yeah.
and on top of that, there is the intergalactic conflict kind of stuff that's happening. So there's all of these different layers of stories being told all at the same time in a cartoon.
Well, and you think of the Clone Wars when you first watched the Clone Wars. If you it it was it took place during the Clone Wars, but a lot of the episodes had very little to do with the actual Clone Wars. The Clone Wars were the setting, and so even like I think of Darth Maul, is it going to be that way too? Is Darth Maul more the setting and the string that runs through? Because you have so many characters that you want to find more out about. You know, I mean, you want to see more Darth Maul, but then every other character, you're like, well, I want to see what's happening with this guy, and I want to see what happens with this guy. So,
Yes, very much so.
and it's
And
at that point in time where there's so many characters that come from every piece of Star Wars you can have.
yeah, I'm surprised. And I don't remember if it was the first or the second episode that the Emperor was mentioned.
Yeah, yeah,
I was wondering whether or not they would incorporate the Emperor or Vader into this because so first of all, Maul is a cast off. The
yeah,
Emperor had took him in as an apprentice from as a child and then discarded him completely. And then Vader ended up being his apprentice. So it was the replacement for Maul a couple apprentices down the path. And Darth Vader was the one responsible for training the Inquisitors, which we know we're going to see because we saw them in the trailers.
yep.
So Vader and the Emperor are involved in this, but I wonder how much, if at all, they'll show up on screen. Like, will we see Maul fight Vader?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's curious to see because I would have never thought I'd see Obi-Wan fight Vader again. Like if you would have said to me at the beginning of the Obi-Wan show, like not knowing anything going in,
Yeah.
do you think Vader will fight Obi-Wan? I'd be like, nah, they're gonna save, and that they made it work and it still didn't mess up any of the
Yeah.
other stuff. So you never know. I mean, that could be the reason why he gets stranded on Malachor, because Vader was quick to come to Malachor, um when Ahsoka was there. So, Malachor could be where Vader sent his enemies to die or something for all we know.
Yeah. It, there's so much possibility with this. And to your point a few moments ago, there's a whole bunch of new characters too, and they're on a whole new planet.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. Because at first I thought we were on Coruscant. At first I was just like, but then I was like, then they started talking. I was like, oh, okay, it's not, you know. Yeah, yeah,
Clone
yeah.
Wars was yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. But as when the Clone Wars first came out, when they first announced it, um, none of us knew there was going to be a Padawan. I mean, it did change. I mean, we had a little bit of thought because we had the micro series, so we knew what the Clone Wars looked like, and we had the Attack of the Clones and all that kind of stuff, so we knew that. But they fleshed that out so much.
Yeah, but it could have been something like, I don't know, Saving Private Ryan. It could have been
Yeah.
just Star Wars Battle, contained in a couple episodes, and then that was it. But we ended up getting, 7 seasons of the Clone Wars.
And a
plus-
ridiculous amount of characters.
Yes, all
Like-
voiced by one guy.
Well, or even like you think of like we all Ventress and Ahsoka are well known, but man, when they first came out, I swear me and Zoe were the only one arguing that they were good Star Wars characters. I mean, I would see grown men arguing with Zoe that they didn't like Ahsoka when she was like 7 years old, and now they're staples of the Star Wars universe. So these Maul characters, like what's going to carry on from Maul, like Rebels, like look what Rebels, the animated characters have done, not only to Star Wars, but the live action, the comic books, the books.
Yeah, and that link isn't done yet because just around the corner we've got Mandalorian Grogu, where we're
Yep.
going to see a live action Zeb, and we know that Ezra and Sabine and Hera are out there somewhere.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, that's the cool thing with all the stuff they're doing and all the creators and all the stuff that's just been laid out, with this. And with this, a lot of this could even dovetail into like I don't know. So this takes place early in the Empire. So
Yeah, it's
this
like year
takes-
one.
Yeah. So this, you still have remnants of the Rogue One, and like people can be coming together. Yeah, Embo. We have Embo. You have like you still have Krennic floating around.
Well, you still have young Boba Fett floating around,
Young Boba Fett, young Han Solo.
plus all of the members of the Clone Wars. All the clones had been
Yeah.
scattered throughout the galaxy as well.
Yeah, well, we still have some of the clones that we didn't get early stories on. Like we didn't get good transition stories on Wolf, from and I mean, we know kind of what happened to Rex, but a lot of the other guys, we don't know where they went or what they did. So
Plus,
yeah,
there's all the other things that like we know there's stuff going on in Peridia,
yeah,
like a whole other galaxy where Thrawn was.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
So there's so much possibility with this, and the thing that impresses me so very, very, very much is, yes, they're building on what's come before it, and this still looks altogether new.
Right.
Yes, it's built on the structure of the Clone Wars animation style, but they've personalized it enough that this can be its own standalone thing from
Right.
a visual perspective, from a sound perspective. I mean, the music and the sound effects for this are wildly amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was amazed just the amount of, and maybe because Clone Wars did a really good job of it, and then they kind of pulled it back with Rebels and stuff, where like background characters and all that kind of stuff. But I was amazed at how rich this was, just even being in the dark, with all the characters, and hopefully it makes people notice Star Wars animation more. I mean, Clone Wars kind of got me hooked more on Star Wars animation than others, and Rebels too. But maybe this will get some people, because there's still people, man. I can talk to them blue in the face to get them to watch Clone Wars, and I try, so. And this
Yeah,
also might scratch that Star Wars underworld that we've been hearing about for decades.
Yeah, and that's one thing I was wondering about, how much of the material for this came from that 50 plus hours worth of material that they put together, and or the stuff that the storylines that they put together for the 1313 video game.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. I know we'll probably never get to see Star Wars Detours, the comedic part of it, but Underworld, they had some amazing writers come together for that.
Yeah, I wish they would release detours, like a little bit of them every April 1st, just for
Yeah,
But
because from that I understood they had one entire season done, like
yeah,
complete, soup to nuts. They had the second season in like post production, and then the third season they were working on the writing for it, and then Star Wars got sold to Disney, and Disney put all that stuff in the vault.
yeah, yeah. I think Disney, and in no way am I disparaging George Lucas, but I think Disney is almost more protective of the IP than George Lucas was.
Well, that's because George Lucas has been a rebel from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, and also because no one could argue that he didn't care because he made it. You know what I mean? Like he kind of had But I just remember even the Star Wars weekends back then when they would have dancing Darth Vader and dancing Chewie, and I don't picture Disney ever doing anything like that. Because they're trying. I don't think either is a wrong approach. I'm sure there's critics on both sides.
Well, I mean, look at some of the choices that they are making, though. So, for instance, you and I are, somewhat collectors of the Star Wars action figures. They now have a whole bunch of Star Wars action figures where the figures themselves are in costume.
Yeah.
It's the biker scout who's dressed like a gingerbread cookie, or the 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 Grand Inquisitor who looks like Dracula. And then this year they're coming out with stormtroopers wearing T-shirts.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just wonder though, like when it comes to certain things. Yeah, yeah. Tim brought up a good point, but I do think George got rid of everything Star Wars when he sold. I'm pretty sure when he
No, I think according to what I read on the Lucasfilm, or not Lucasfilm, sorry, um, the Museum of Illustrative Art that's going to be opened up. He he kept a lot of access to the artwork from the movies and everything.
right, but I think he sold them all. But didn't he sold like I'm pretty sure he sold all the rights and stuff, other than like the physical. I think he kept physical things, but I don't think he kept like. I don't think George could like throw together another Ewok movie if he wanted to.
Yeah, that part. That part I don't know.
But Tim made me remind me that you and I do have to come up with another date for our next uh reading of Empire Striketh Back.
Yeah, I thought we had picked mid-April. I thought it was
I think we said mid-April, but I don't think we ever put a date down.
yeah, because I thought it was next week.
Is it next week?
That's what I thought.
All right.
I thought it was the 16th.
Can we push that back a week? Because I didn't know. But yeah, let's
it's our
put,
show.
yeah. We'll let me get some. But yeah, I don't know. I just think this between this and the underworld we're going to see in the Boba Fett movie. I think it opens it
You
up.
mean the Mandalorian movie?
I mean, what did I say?
You said
Boba
the
Fett movie.
Boba Fett movie.
Yeah, don't quote me on the Boba Fett movie. But yeah, the stuff we see on that could be that just opens it up to so many cool things coming up.
And it doesn't have to be an exact one for one of what they put together for that, but just just we use drawings as an example. So way back in the 80s, maybe it was the late 70s, Ralph McQuarrie did this little bitty drawing of Darth Vader sitting in a throne, or it was the Emperor sitting in a throne. That image came back in Rise of Skywalker.
Right. Well, Vader's
So
castle in
Mustafar, yeah.
Mustafar, or the Kenner's toy, the troop transport in Rebels.
Yes.
Or how many things in Rebels, like even the spire that Ezra lived in. That was a
Straight from all of Rebels was inspired by the early Ralph McQuarrie drawings.
Yeah.
So the entire show was stylized like that.
And then Book of Boba Fett, or no, then Mandalorian, you had Boba Fett's rifle. You had
Star Wars Christmas special.
Yeah, so it is. It's nice to be able to that they're just picking and choosing things that caught their eye, and we'll see. The other Star Wars thing I was thinking about this week, I saw Project Hail Mary, and
Have you seen that movie yet? I haven't watched it yet.
it's very good, very good. It did, but it excited me about Star Wars. Was it X-Wing or whatever with Ryan?
Starfighter.
After, because I never really watched many Ryan Gosling movies, and after seeing that, I'm like, yeah, he's going to be really good in this. So, I mean, I would recommend seeing that. Normally my movie going is Star Wars and more Star Wars, but I would highly recommend seeing that movie sooner
Nice.
rather than later. You'll enjoy it. But yes,
Do you want to talk about any spoilery stuff now in the mall show?
yeah, I'll talk spoilers. So if you didn't watch the mall show, I mean, it's been out for a couple days.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and turn us off now and
Yeah.
listen to the rest of us later.
Well, and there's no real spoilers that are going to like wreck it. I mean, everyone knows Darth Maul's coming back.
Yes.
I don't like. I wasn't surprised by it. Were you surprised by anything that happened?
I'm surprised that. Let me see. How do I put this into words? I'm surprised that they went the path of again two Jedi that are on the run from the Purge are just there, and folks don't even see them as Jedi.
Okay. I'm well, see, I always thought of that as like there were so many Jedi and I pictured like Jedi, it seems like Jedi just naturally, most of them just go in pairs anyway. And so they would just naturally find each other. Like I just pictured that part.
Because that's something
But
that I don't understand, though, because it seems like in this show, Maul sensed the Padawan,
yeah.
the apprentice, but it didn't seem like he sensed the master.
Well, I took it
Me-
that he sensed someone that needed training. I took it more like he sensed like a someone who could be easily molded. Because like he was kind of drawn towards Ezra. Like I think he was drawn towards someone who he could influence.
Yeah, well, my thing is like, I think he was drawn to Ezra, but I think he would have been aware of Kanan and aware of Ahsoka and their presence in the Force, because I don't think they ever tried to hide. They didn't turn themselves off from it like Luke did in the
Well,
sequel.
but maybe they did have the ability to somewhat mask it. Like like maybe he didn't sense the Jedi part as much as the uneasy, like maybe because she had Jedi powers and she was young, he could sense that more. You understand what I'm saying? Like maybe he's not sensing Jedi as much as he's sensing the uneasiness of a Jedi. Like maybe his sensing of Jedi is not as good as other people, but he can sense someone who's not as well trained, if that makes sense.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean that's going to be his Padawan, right? I mean that's you're pretty
Well,
much
I think apprentice, yes. Like he's gonna, yes,
yeah.
person he trains, and I don't know if that aspect of this relationship will finish at the end of this, because I just think there's way too much possible story for it to be finished in 10 episodes.
Well, it's 2 seasons now because they got a second season.
What do you mean they got a second season?
They announced this. I think someone said they announced the second season already.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I mean, I could be. Maybe I was dreaming that.
Wow, okay.
Hang on. Let me.
It's definitely possible.
I could be wrong. I could be. There's so many. Yeah, there we go. Huge announcement 6 days ago. Maul Shadow Lord season 2.
And who announced that?
StarWars.com. 7 days
Okay.
ago. So I wasn't hearing things. So
Well, like you heard stuff. You heard correctly. I
Yeah.
I wasn't even aware. That's pretty awesome. And what what that says to me though is it's interesting that this cartoon has been approved for a second season already, yet the acolyte is only permitted one season, and we know there's 100 years worth of space for story.
Okay, well, okay. I don't know how I could say this without getting some people ticked off, but maybe the animated fans are less toxic than the and I say in air quotes the
Yeah,
Star Wars fan.
well, it's possible because I think the animated fans, because they're animation fans of animation, um, tend to be more open to wild creativity and not stuck on what already existed and what you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's I'm saying
Yeah.
because when I meet, I gotta say this so I don't. You'll meet so I'm gonna go back in time so I don't offend current people, but back in the day, y- not too many long, not too many years ago, if you started talking to someone and they started bashing Jar Jar Binks, you knew they didn't like the prequels, right? But when the Clone Wars came out, it seemed like the people that liked the Clone Wars were less apt to bash anything, you know. Yeah, I agree with. I don't know cartoons being cheaper or whatever when it comes to movies. I don't know how that all works because I know they're cheaper to make, but I also you're paying less people. I understand all that. Um, but I do think I agree with Spartan in the sense that it is less. It's less risky in the sense that it's not going in a movie theater. So you have a like Darth Maul has it has its already built in audience and stuff. You know. So, like, I think there's more Star Wars fans. No, very less people will be on a Friday night or a Monday night and say, "Hey, let's watch Darth Maul, honey." That aren't Star Wars fans. Where if you have Grogu in the theater, Mando and Grogu, there is a fraction of people that are just going to be like, "Well, we're not Star Wars fans, but it's the movie that's out now. Let's go see it." If that makes any sense.
Maybe. Definitely maybe. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, I don't. Fans can like whatever they want. Like I like all Star Wars, and I understand some people don't like animation, which is fine too. Um, but I do think the fans people, yeah, Jar Jar was always loved by me. Jar Jar, like my kids were little, man. We loved Jar Jar. I saw Jar Jar on the first time, and it just I don't know. He made me laugh.
With Jar Jar, I don't think Jar Jar has acquired new fans. Like I don't think anybody who went to the Jar Jar Must Die website
Right.
when it was created in the late 90s. I don't think those folks today would say, yes, give me more Jar Jar. What I think has happened is the youth that were, the people who were children in 1999 and
Or
saw
yeah,
Jar Jar are now adults and can voice their fandom much more and they'd be listened to much more. And many of them have adult spending money
that's true
for,
too.
you know, so I don't think that Jar Jar is necessarily more loved now, but I will say that uh, the lovers of Jar Jar are more vocal about it than before.
Yeah, well, Jar Jar was also the lower hanging fruit for the people that just didn't like Star Wars. But like when I saw New Hope, Jawas were one of my favorite characters when I was a kid. I was 9 years old. Jar Jar, I loved Jawas, and when I saw, I was much older when I saw Phantom Menace, and I liked Jar Jar. I liked my favorite part was when he was kicking around the thing and the blaster was stuck to his foot or whatever, or and he was shooting things. I was like, oh, that's what I liked about Star Wars. I like the random, improbable things that would happen. That Luke Skywalker grabbed a belt with a grappling, and he just happened to need the grappling hook. That's just Star Wars.
Yeah, and I also think Jar Jar in some ways, and I don't know this for certain, unfortunately, George and I haven't gotten to talk about this yet. In some ways, I almost think Jar Jar was a reminder that this is a movie. This is yes, it's fantastic, and there's lots of creativity, and there's some wonderful lessons embedded in the material if you're willing to look for it, or looking not even look for it, but if you're willing to see it. And it is a movie. It is fantasy. It is excitement. It is story. And here's a reminder of the unrealness of it all.
Yeah. Well, and every iteration of Star Wars has that something that you could pick it apart. Ewoks, they were hated. Yeah, the Ewoks were hated. Ewoks in my
Ewoks were
house.
hated by some of the makers.
Yeah, Ewoks in my house were hated not because of they were Ewoks, but because they hurt stormtroopers. So my girls would always make fun of me in my TK because they said the Ewoks could be. So we had a fun, I say hatred in universe hatred for Ewoks in my house. But I liked Ewoks because when I was a kid, when the first movie came out, it was one of those first things that introduced me as I think I was like 14 or 15, that movies can have deeper meanings than just what you see on screen, because my father was a Vietnam veteran, and a lot of my world was shaped by the aftermath of that. And when you see someone who made a movie and use symbolism, it kind of like, what? I was like, what do you mean? It means more than that. So it was kind of cool as a kid. That was that first symbolism that I could like sound intelligent. Like, did you know that meant so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that helps keep Star Wars alive. Here we are 49 plus years afterwards, is you're able to discuss the content on so many different levels and in so many different ways, and your opinion can be different than mine, and I can be watching the same movie sitting right beside you and pay attention to one thing while you can have your eyes closed just listening to the music, or
Yep.
paying attention to the different sound effects, or what have you.
Yeah. Well, and then you have the characters in Star Wars that we all loved, and then there's ones that like you and I just don't even notice, and someone else like noticed, because it could have been in the 70s. That was the only action figure they could find in the store,
Yeah.
So all of a sudden that's their favorite character, even though, he was called Walrus Man, you know what I mean? Or,
Yep.
I had the Death Star droid figure for someone bought me that when I was younger, and he's only in it for, well, technically you see more of him in the Sandcrawler than you see him in the Death Star,
Yeah.
So then you notice those things, and then you have these characters that become beloved, or you have Neil from Skeleton Crew, like that. What a lovable Neil, which I don't think Neil would have came about without Grogu, and I don't know if the Grogu would have come about without Jar Jar. Like they were all,
Or the Ewoks, because the Ewoks are similar to Grogu in that it's this cute little thing that's much,
underestimated.
much more than you give it credit for.
Yeah. And then R2, you can almost say R2 was led to all of them, because R2 was like just a little, like, you're like, well, what good does he do? And he winds up saving the day at the end, and so
Well, many times he saved the day.
yeah.
He saved C-3PO. He saved got them out of the trap in Return of the Jedi, that net that they were all caught into because Chewbacca was hungry.
Yeah. With that weird deer looking thing.
Yeah. It
was like a deer butt with like teeth in it or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I
want to talk to the prop makers for that one.
That's a night. That's someone that didn't do their work the night before, and they're like, oh crap, where's that prop you made?
Yeah, we gotta do something. Who's got a deer skin that we can mangle up more?
Yeah. So
I just The other thing that I'm amazed at with this animation that we're seeing in Shadow Lord is it's a cartoon, so everything we see on screen is there on purpose,
Yes.
and you're seeing like people their faces being lit with red light, or you're seeing I can't even count right now off the top of my head the numbers of times we saw either Darth Maul's shadow or Darth Maul in a shadow,
Yeah.
and it's a cartoon. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I
these
don't
are
even know. I don't even like when I watch the credits and they have all these jobs listed. I don't even understand how that works in animation. I don't even I wish I like to pretend I'm well versed. Like I barely understand how it works in movies, but I do understand like if you have a lighting guy that he's putting lights on stuff. But I'm like, I don't even understand how that works in animation, you know. So
how about rigging, where they're
yeah,
creating all these points on a drawing so that the computer can make it like it's
yeah.
crazy to me,
So
and beautiful and impressive and worth every minute of getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning.
yeah, I'm not going to do that. But good for you, Ken. Well, where'd you go? Oh,
I don't know.
but yeah. So man, Ken, we did it over an hour already.
Yeah, that's the kind of show that we roll in.
And I did forget to put Marcus's cartoon or commercial on too. I was trying to watch for the halfway point.
Well, considering that now that you said Marcus, you might as well play it now.
Since I said Marcus, I'm going to put his now. For those that are listening to it, I'm sorry, we don't have any audio to go with it. We'll have to get Marcus to maybe make some audio too. But Marcus, if you get a chance to check out Marcus's stuff, his stuff is really nice. And I guess he's a sponsor. Like he doesn't pay us anything, but he did take the time to make this video. So thank you,
He
Marcus.
pays us with his friendship.
Yes. He was also a fellow trooper on Han Solo Chronicles. So,
Yes, sir, rocking it out with his big blaster.
yes. So, one last time before we go, Ken, where can people find you?
You can find me bounty hunting across the galaxy with Todd and Ken. You can find me every once in a while around the Dejeric table on Bantha Milk Podcast, and then on my solo show known as The Rambling Star Wars Fan. And I recently changed my Instagram name to the underscore rambling underscore star underscore wars underscore fan. Rambling Star Wars Fan.
Nice.
So easy to find that way.
And you can find me here and 501st Cast. Again, I thank you everyone that pops in or listens. Please like, subscribe. Those that have commented, we appreciate it. Share it with your friends. Let us know what we can do. If you have any ideas for shows, reach out to me and Ken. And then
Or if
we'll
you
have
want to be on the show with us.
yeah, and we got to get a concrete date on the next Empire Striketh Back. We just got to look. I think April's going to just be a tough thing for us. But we'll figure it all out. But thanks again, everyone, and have a wonderful week.
I've been running scams on the street since I was 10. I've been running scams on the street since I was 10.
Hey, hey, Mike, what do you see? A Falcon that inflates for free. Hey, hey, Ken, what's the drill? Blue milk sipping gives me a thrill. The inflatable Falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. Left, right, left, we're marching through. Cosplay helmets and a saber or two. Hey, hey, Mike, what's the plan? To nerd out harder than anyone can. The inflatable Falcon takes the flight. George Lucas dreams in the starry night. Costume shop, we're dressed to play. Let's blast off into the fray. So grab your gear and join the crew. Mike and Ken got a show for you. Laughs and